Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to see how many I got right in my F1 25 driver and team predictions. I made this 20th of March. I can say this, it's now last year. I've got, you know what it is like, New Year. As well, Happy New Year, by the way. Yes, but how many did I get right? Now, if memory serves me correctly, there weren't many as confirmed drivers. 2026 predictions are going to be a lot easier. It's going to be the reverse, where I'm probably going to do better at the predictions for driver and teams than I are for the standings. Whereas 2024-25, I've probably done better with the standings and the driver and the teams because there are a lot more open seats. But yes, we had 2 confirmed teams already. They were, at this point, they were Ferrari. We already had the shock announcement that Lewis Hamilton was moving to Ferrari for 2025 alongside Charles Leclerc as well. And if I scroll forward, and the other team was, of course, these two. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, both confirmed at McLaren as well. So yes, I'm going to move forward now to see what else I predicted.
There's a lot of rumours about Max Verstappen. Now, I'm going to predict that he will be staying at Red Bull next season. Now, obviously,
so rather than me rambling on in the video, basically at the time I made this, obviously there was the Christian Horner situation and a lot of rumours that was flying about that Verstappen was going to leave. So I predicted he would stay, and alongside him, well,
a lot of talk alongside Verstappen previously, and I actually said in my 2024 predictions video that Sergio Perez was going to get fired in the mid-season. That's not going to happen at this rate because Perez is having a fantastic start to the season. He's not been on the front row yet, but he's getting there. You know, he's quite.
Okay, so at this point, obviously, Perez, this was at the start of the season, Perez, and at the start of the season, Perez was in exactly where Red Bull wanted him to be, scoring podiums, he was second in the championship, and we all thought, I thought that he'd carry out that form throughout the season, maybe have the odd dip in performance. We only really saw him anywhere near the podium at Baku, which he then got crashed with Sainz out of the race there. Obviously, Perez is sitting on the sidelines, but yes, I'm going to a little spoiler for you, ladies and gentlemen. A little spoiler. I think so. This is not the end for Checo. I think he's coming back with Cadillac. That's my personal opinion. I'll discuss more about that in the future, but that's what I personally think is going to happen. He'll be back next year with Cadillac for sure. Just to also point out, obviously, I originally predicted Daniel Ricciardo to take this prediction in the F1 24 standings prediction video that I did. Obviously, that didn't happen. Ricciardo's gone and probably isn't coming back, sadly. We're not going to see Ricciardo, which is a shame because at his best, he was up there. Obviously he hasn't been at his best for quite some time though, as well. But yes, for Perez, he's definitely coming back. Obviously didn't see Lawson coming in and getting the promotion straight to it. I predicted for years that they'd be promoting Tsunoda. What's going to happen with Tsunoda next year? You'll have to wait and see. So we're going to move on to Mercedes next, and George Russell already had a contract. Yeah. Well, have a listen to this.
I think that Russell will be potentially the future of that team now. As I said this before, but he's had a much better start to the season than Lewis. Can he get third in the championship? That would be good for him. I don't think he can. I think Ferrari will probably have too much. But if he can get fifth, basically he's looking to be up there and improving around that drivers and not be where he.
Well, he didn't finish fifth. He actually finished sixth in the end, as well. But the fact that one of the lines I said is not true anymore. Russell being the future of that team, that is not true anymore. As well as obviously Antonelli is here to stay for the rest of time.
And he is obviously the person that Mercedes want to put in that second seat, but he's not had the best start to his F2 career. He might not even be on the F1 grid this next year, which means that obviously they need somebody as a stopgap. Now maybe Lewis was unhappy with that. One person that could be happy with that is Fernando Alonso, especially.
So yeah, not Alonso, Antonelli. I mean, yes. To be honest, I think F1 wants to see Alonso, but he's obviously chosen Aston Martin, and obviously he will now have Adrian Newey alongside him, as well, to work with him come this year. And obviously 2026 is just around the corner probably. It is around the corner. Those new regulations, and Adrian Newey will probably deliver a good car, depending on how good the Honda engine is compared to probably the Mercedes potentially. But yes, I did not predict Antonelli. He didn't have, he wasn't like up there challenging for the title, so that's really what my concern was. But then we saw with Colapinto, then as soon as you grow into F1, if you adapt quickly to the cars, then you can perform very quickly. Same with Ollie Behrman, who had a very bland F2 campaign, but his F1 campaign arguably is what got him the seats later on.
Free Aston Martin, and I'm going to say there'll be a complete driver change. Lance Stroll, I'm going to stick with this. Lance Stroll. He's not, he clipped the wall and he binned it basically in Jeddah. He's not in good form. There is a project for Aston Martin that's coming up in 2025 that I think Lance would be much better suited for, and it's the World Endurance Championship.
Daddy says no to that. Simple as that. Stroll is staying as well. So I predicted that Aston Martin would change their lineup. Completely wrong.
Yuki Tsunoda. I do think that a lot of drivers will be moving ahead with so many out of contract. There'll be one thought of mine of 2026, and Aston Martin will have the best engine on the grid in the back of their car at that point, the Honda engine.
Well, regulations permitting. Tsunoda did not move to Aston Martin, I can confirm. He's still at whatever they're calling themselves this year, AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso, whatever it is. Yes. I do think that Yuki will be leaving at the end of this year, obviously, but I'll come back to that in another video, as I said. Yeah, kind of a little bit disappointed that, he had such a good start to the season that Yuki just stayed at the team. He showed what he did, and yet he didn't move. So who knows? Will we see more activity on that next year? We'll have to wait and see.
Alex Albon alongside. I think some people have said Carlos Sainz might go there, but
I mean, Albon and Tsunoda would be a good lineup for any team especially, I mean, it's not a lineup you instantly think they're going to be world champions, but it's a solid lineup for a midfield team, and this team would definitely score, but you'd have both drivers up there scoring points, which probably what Aston Martin probably needed. Bearing in mind this is pre Adrian Newey being involved for them. I mean, if you take a look at both drivers, are they as good as Alonso now? I mean, Alonso has been able to take that Aston Martin, which arguably could be the slowest car this season. We'll have to wait and see if it is. From the dire straits of Q1, and he's able to get into Q3. He's able to score points. There's a reason why he finished 9th. Yes, of course, that was good consistency in this first half of the season when their car was the 5th fastest on the grid, but he was still scoring points in the latter half of the season where his teammates scored no points. So would Albon and Tsunoda be able to do that? We've seen how Yuki has struggled. Both these drivers have struggled where the car's not been there. Albon struggled this year where the Williams wasn't there and they finished 9th in the constructors. We saw Yuki struggle from a large part of last season, 2023, excuse me. Yes, when the car wasn't great as well and they were languishing at the back until they brought some upgrades. So there is that factor to think about for what is effectively potentially a back marker team going into 2025. But for Albon, he obviously decided to stay put at Williams, which might be the better choice going forward, depending on what the Mercedes engine provides.
Harry, where I do believe that, obviously, will Ricciardo stay? Will he go? Will they promote somebody else from F2? Zane Maloney has had a good start to the season. One of the seats will definitely be taken by Liam Lawson. We understand he's got some contract already to race next year for AlphaTauri. So,
yeah, I think that was the right call. Ricciardo didn't have a good start to the season at this point, and it was starting to show that Tsunoda was clearly outshining him as well. So, yes. I was right. It was Hadjar in the end that got the promotion alongside Lawson. Well, Lawson was it's not Tsunoda. It's not Lawson because obviously, Perez at the last minute, whether or not it was a mutual termination or whether or not he got the shove. I mean, they say mutual termination if I remember rightly, but for Lawson that's a huge jump, and I just hope this year he's able to he's able to drive the car and show what he's capable of and not suffer the same route that Perez, Gasly and Albon have done and face El Sacchio.
Perfect fit for Sainz. His dad's got links with Audi from his rallying stuff. It allows him to go and do a bit of rallying, I presume, as well. There could be that good link up as well. And obviously Audi are targeting championships. It's a brand new engine. I think this could suit Carlos very well indeed. So I think Sainz will be at Audi and Nico Hülkenberg will be alongside him.
1 out of 2 is not bad there. I mean, I do still maintain that Sainz would have been a good fit for Audi, but the engine side of things is just catastrophic as well. Bortoleto obviously has the second Sauber seat. When I mean Audi, I mean Sauber, but I mean, they will both be together at Audi when it becomes Audi in 2026, both Hülkenberg and Bortoleto. Yes, that's probably not the lineup that they wanted, to be honest. I know Hülkenberg's a very good driver and he will be able to do what he's done with Haas and take that car from the back into the midfield a little bit like what Alonso's done in the second half of the season. I'm not so sure about Bortoleto. I'm, new driver. How is he going to stack up against all the other rookies? That's who he's going to be challenged against. It depends on what Sauber and Audi decide to bring. Will there be full focus on 2026? Because obviously there are lots of words about coming out that the engine is going to be the worst on the grid. And we're probably talking like McLaren Honda days potentially for that team, sat at the back trundling around 15 laps off the pace or something like that. Yes, that's probably alarming for Audi that they haven't been able to deliver. And obviously it seems that the Renault were probably on for a championship winning engine until they decided that they wanted to save some money as well, or spend some money rather on Mercedes engines as well. But yes, it's not the lineup that Audi would have. I definitely don't think that's the lineup Audi would have chosen first, but it's the lineup they've got, and they've got to try and make the best of a bad situation and try and improve the car to attract better drivers in the future. And who knows, Bortoleto, he did win F2. Can he go on to deliver that in F1? We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, obviously Ollie Bearman, he's probably guaranteed to see. I know Komatsu's come out recently saying that they're going to look at it, but I think that he's probably guaranteed to see. Gets money off Ferrari engine, makes sense, especially the fact they're having less Ferrari personnel at Haas now, with Simone Resta's departure as well. I think that it's a good place for Bearman to go, and Magnussen will be a good yardstick for Bearman. If he beats Magnussen, then that Ferrari are going to be having problems.
So yes, K-Mag and Bearman is one prediction, and again it's 1 out of 2, because obviously it's Ocon and Bearman. I think I did predict correctly that Ocon was going to leave Alpine. We'll come back to that in a moment. But for Bearman, I mean, as soon as he stepped into that Ferrari, he was destined for that Haas seat. I mean, he's still got a good yardstick. It's just not K-Mag. It's Ocon instead. If he beats Ocon, then Ferrari may have a dilemma, because obviously they'll want to be getting him into the main team as soon as possible, really. And as I think I said in this video, when Lewis either moves on from Ferrari or retires from F1, Bearman is there primed and ready to take over and take his place in that side.
To replace Albon. It's a good move for Ocon because the Alpine car is dreadful. He's not really getting on at Alpine, he's not really getting his way. He wanted to be that team leader and he's just really not having it. Gasly's been more of the team leader role there. And I'm currently going to put Antonelli asterisk.
Yeah. Well, that's completely wrong, Williams. To be fair, Ocon Antonelli would be a very good lineup for them. I do worry about Williams' younger talent, about where it's going to go, because the next, Colapinto obviously is the next best thing, but he's now without a drive this year, and there's been so many talks with so many teams, and obviously he does bring a sponsorship money with him, which obviously for a team like Williams at the lower end of the grid is crucial as well. But it is Albon and Sainz. Sainz has already started going a little bit quicker. Whether or not Albon, this is going to be interesting this year to see how Albon stacks up against Sainz. This will be a good test for him. Yeah, obviously Ocon's got his own junior teammate, you know, again at Haas, and obviously Antonelli is being thrown in the deep end at Mercedes. Despite, you know, I'm not entirely sure about that. Whether or not they should have done that or placed him at Williams would have been a better fit to allow him to gain some experience. I think if Mercedes wanted to, they could have arranged with Williams for Antonelli to spend the last 9 races or 8 races this season at Williams last season. They decided against that, which I think is, personally speaking, is a mistake, because, like, you know, Colapinto now has 9 races under his belt and is he's effectively without a drive and is wanted by numerous teams all over the place to fit in. So, but yes, we'll have to wait and see about, you know, how Williams can perform now. They've got two good drivers. Can they, you know, move up the grid and not finish 9th this year? And the final lineup at Alpine, yeah, I mean, I got Gasly right. I mean, he's committed. Actual fact, a great end of the season. I think I underplayed where Alpine were. At this point, Gasly was last in the championship, 21st, as well, and obviously finished 10th in the championship. Another good year from him, and, you know, I think his reputation with the top team is tarnished because of obviously what happened with Red Bull, as well, which is a shame because, you know, obviously Pierre is starting to show again what he can do. Porsche, I mean, yeah, no, absolutely, completely wrong. I think the reason why I put Porsche in his place of Doohan in this particular case is because Doohan wasn't doing any racing in 2024, and he didn't, you know, the only racing he actually did was at Abu Dhabi, and he finished P15 in arguably what is the 5th fastest team on the grid. He is under already pressure. You know, Briatore is making noises as it talks the back that he's only got a 5-race contract or something like that. All these noises and rumours coming out, as well, and how Colapinto could come in there. But yeah, that's a negative on on Porsche. So just totalling up the scores, there's 2 scores there because I believe Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, Piastri, Verstappen and Russell had announced their contracts at the time. So yeah, not great, to be honest. I'm hoping to do a little bit better next year. Let me know how you got on with your predictions in the comments below. If you are new around here, then please do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content, as well, and leave a comment what other race week videos you do want to see on the channel. Please do. I'm open to suggestions on what you want to see, as well, this year. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.